2:33 in the morning. The Strait of Hormuz. An unexpected alarm sounds in the USS Abraham Lincoln's Operations Center. Dozens of unknown signals have appeared on the radar screens and then vanished. Not degraded by distance. Not lost in sea clutter. There, then gone. Then appearing again in a different location seconds later. The watch officers cannot immediately classify what they are tracking. The signals are too small to be aircraft. They are moving too fast and too low to be surface vessels. And there are too many of them appearing simultaneously from too many directions to be sensor artifacts. Within the minutes that follow, the picture clarifies into something that has been war-gamed and planned for, but never before executed at this scale, in this location. Something is closing on the international oil tanker convoy moving through the world's most critical shipping lane. And every second of uncertainty about what it has cost the defense team options it will not get back. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has been preparing this operation for years. 12 Shahed 136 drones took off simultaneously from camouflaged mobile launch pads along the Iranian coastline, immediately descending after launch to just above sea level, skimming the dark water of the strait only meters above the wave's surface, where radar detection is at its most difficult and reaction time is at its shortest. The Iranian coordinators deliberately avoided concentrating the drones into a single formation. Instead, they divided the entire force into several small, independently operating groups approaching from different directions, designed to create a dispersed target network that closes on the convoy from multiple vectors simultaneously. The tactical logic behind this approach is straightforward and effective. Force the U.S. defense system to track too many separate targets moving on too many different headings. Compel each interception decision to compete for attention against every other interception decision happening at the same time. Drain the response capacity of the defending force through the volume of simultaneous demands on its attention and its weapons. At 2:40, the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers escorting the merchant convoy began detecting the unusual signals. They appeared briefly and then vanished, reappearing moments later in slightly different positions. The initial assessment was uncertainty. The watch officers could not determine with confidence what they were tracking. As the number of signals continued to increase and their pattern of movement became clearer, uncertainty gave way to alarm. Combat alerts sounded aboard the Abraham Lincoln. On the tactical displays, small contacts were closing simultaneously on the oil convoy from multiple approach angles. The distance was shrinking, and there was no longer any question about whether this was deliberate. The response was immediate. An E-2D Advanced Hawkeye, already conducting patrol operations south of the strait, was redirected toward the area of the contacts. Within minutes, its N/APY-9 radar was providing fused data that, combined with the N/SPY 1D radar feeds from the destroyers, confirmed the threat classification. The contacts were Shahed 136 drones, Iranian loitering munitions approaching the international shipping lane from multiple vectors at low altitude. At 2:55, two F-35C Lightning IIs launched from the Abraham Lincoln's flight deck and accelerated north toward the strait to expand the surveillance coverage and provide additional targeting data for the defense network. The decision to expand coverage proved immediately significant. One of the F-35Cs detected a cluster of new signals near Keshem Island that were not part of the inbound formation. The first imagery transmitted to the operations center showed additional Shahed 136 drones being prepared alongside camouflaged mobile launch pads on the Iranian coastline. Iran was not executing a single-wave attack. It was building a multi-wave operation designed to exploit the transition moments when the defense network was most focused on immediate threats. 4 MH-60R Seahawk helicopters were ordered from the escort ships, armed with APKWS laser-guided rockets, and assigned the initial interception task against the first wave. The choice of weapon matters here. APKWS rockets cost significantly less than the SM-2 or ESSM interceptor missiles that the destroyers carry. Against a drone that costs roughly $20,000, firing a $2 million missile is a defensible tactical decision, but an unsustainable economic one at scale. The Seahawks with APKWS represented the appropriate weapon for the threat, precise enough to be effective against small, low-flying targets, cheap enough to be used in the volumes the engagement was likely to require. At 3:06, the Seahawks reached the first interception zone and began engaging. APKWS rounds fired in succession against the low-flying contacts. On the fleet's tactical display, Shahed signals began disappearing one by one as explosions lit the dark water. In under a few minutes, a significant portion of the first wave had been destroyed. But the analysis of debris recovered from the first down drones revealed something that changed the character of the entire engagement. Many of the destroyed drones carried only limited explosive payloads. Their airframes had been fitted with additional radar reflectors specifically designed to amplify their return on sensor screens. Part of the first wave had not been designed to penetrate the defense and strike the tankers. It had been designed to force the defense to focus on it, to consume interceptors, commit helicopters, and direct attention toward contacts that were never the real threat. The confirmation came immediately. While the Seahawks were still prosecuting the remaining first-wave contacts, the F-35C and E-2D Hawkeye data feeds lit up with new signals around Kesham Island. 8 additional Shahed 136 drones launched from the coastal positions that had been observed during the initial detection phase, moving toward the strait from a completely different direction than the first wave. This group did not maintain formation. Each drone immediately took an individual approach corridor, creating a dispersed target picture that could not be handled with the same geographic focus as the first wave. The Iranian coordinators were executing the core logic of the swarm attack precisely. If the U.S. fleet concentrated its defense on the first approach corridor, the second wave would exploit the gap created by that concentration. If the fleet tried to spread its defense across multiple approach corridors simultaneously, the effectiveness of each interception effort would be reduced. The transition moment between defending against the first wave and repositioning to address the second wave was the window that the Iranian planners were trying to exploit. During that transition, several Shahed drones from the first wave that had survived the outer interception line took advantage of the defense's divided attention and continued advancing toward the convoy.